Excuse me.
A little bit and make two different things.
So why do you need the clay?
To roll the...
Oh, you have to make sure that it gets, when it's sitting, it settles. So you want to mix it, and you also want to make sure there's no bubbles in it. Because if you throw it, it'll throw it off. You can't get it centered when it's got bubbles. And if that bubble goes into the kiln, it'll blow it up. If it's big enough.
So this is the first part of
This is the
flame.
first part, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you add water? So it's
No.
like powder first, or
No, I just get it from in a box. It comes like this.
Like
in
Play-Doh?
a bag. Yeah,
Lay,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. Exactly.
can you fire up Play-Doh?
No.
Haha.
Okay.
Ah. You've broken it into a smaller section. My nose is running.
So this is your husband.
Yes, it's me.
Okay, so this is.
So you're the
two
Mr.
inches. I took a
Observer.
pound
My
off.
name tag is Ian. So what?
I took a pound off.
Oh, a pound off. That was fast. Oh, talk
I
about weight
wish I could do
reduction,
that.
eh?
Imagine that, eh?
Yeah, just
This is
1
3
pound.
pounds right here.
right.
Not quite.
It's cold.
Is it a cold clay when you touch it?
Yeah.
For
If
sure.
it's cold in the
Liposuction.
room, I wish I could do it. Enough
Here we are. Yes.
to.
We can do a wedgie now.
We'll ignore the comments from the peanut gallery.
So you're wedging the clay.
Yes, and this
Now
is
I'm just.
forming.
It's easier to throw it if it's a round ball to start with.
So when you say throw it on this
Yeah, when
this
you-
thing,
Yeah.
I'm going to throw it twice. I'm going to throw it onto the wheel.
and then throw it on your husband, at
Yeah.
your husband.
But
Sometimes
if it doesn't make it.
If
I'm the
the-
catcher.
the hecklers.
The hecklers, the peanut galleries.
Okay. Do you stretch your body and
No. and I
No,
should
yeah,
probably-
none of this.
No,
Not this.
None of
don't,
what?
but I probably should do, you know. Especially your upper body, because that's what you're using more than anything, right?
Is the wheel in the right place? Okay, yes it is.
Okay,
All
water, wow.
Okay, so I'm
Centered.
centering it by putting my hands around it and squeezing in towards the center equally.
equally? So,
Equally with equal amounts of pressure from both hands.
so that takes practice.
So, yeah, oh yeah. Some people, I did this right away, but some people it takes a long time to learn.
Or they'll always make a lap-sided bowl or something, lap-sided.
Yeah.
That's their style.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Afterwards.
Like, ooh, let's buy from the lap-sided potter.
Okay, now she's throwing the...
You didn't throw it, you just put it. But that's the term now, throw.
Yeah, throwing it.
Well, yeah, I put it on there and then slammed it on, sort of in the middle, as much as in the middle as you can get it,
Yeah.
so that it's easier to center like this, right?
Are you watching, Kelly?
So when you
Okay,
throw
now
it
it's
on the wheel, you already know what you're making, or you're
Yes,
like
I do.
okay,
I
so
already know what I'm making when I'm wedging the clay. Because I
okay.
weigh the clay first to see the amount that I need. Put your hand here. You'll see how
Smooth.
Okay, it's centered, right?
What do
That's
you mean
I'm getting at.
centered?
It's centered.
There's no like bumps on it.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So that's what center
Completely
means.
centered, okay? So yeah, so then you take and you put your thumb down the center, almost to the bottom, making sure you don't go to the bottom because you want to have a bottom on your
Okay,
pot, right?
meaning it has to. What is it? You're making a pot?
vase.
A vase, okay.
Are they centered? Yes, they are.
Then I bring it out
Wedge my-
with my finger in the center.
So your feet is controlling the speed.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
And it goes faster and slower considering what I'm doing. You know, like when I'm centering, you can go quite fast.
Okay.
But when you're
Carving.
bringing it up, you want to slow down as you go along, because otherwise it'll throw it off.
So it's you need coordination,
Absolutely.
mind, hand, foot.
That's
it's like,
right.
like a drummer.
Yeah, it's like I say to my kids when they can't center, picture your belly button as being your center of your universe.
Mm-hmm.
And you're putting that center of you into that clay.
Okay.
And oftentimes, that's what it takes to think about when you're trying to center a pot. Okay, I'm trying to just smooth out the bottom here. So once you get it brought out, you do smooth the bottom because sometimes you can't do it after. And now I'm making sure it's centered because when I'm bringing the sides up, if it isn't, that's when it goes wobbly.
And you wouldn't want a wobbly
No,
vase.
you don't.
No.
I guess then you'll see how skilled the potter is if it's centered or...
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be your camera's fault that I don't.
What you making, Mark?
I'm making a vase, just like the one I gave to Shelley and Archie.
We don't have a picture of that, do
No, but I'm sure they'd give us one if they wanted
we?
to.
Yeah.
If we asked.
And these are the ones you've already made, the tea set.
Yeah.
that's true.
Wow.
I made everything on there, pretty
This
much,
one's
except the,
glazed.
the cookie jar. And these mugs I did too.
So through plastic for this one.
Oh, and then you have a mirror so you can see
Yeah,
if it's...
so you're not going like this all the time and putting your back or your neck out, right?
Nice.
Those mugs have to be glazed.
Every time you pull your hands away, when you get it to this stage, slowly, so it doesn't put it off, you know?
Mhm.
I just went back to recenter it because it was off a little bit and I don't want it off. Because then
Mhm.
you'll go back and say, see this potter? And they'll say, look it's off.
So in your mind, while you're doing this, you already know what's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
This is when I call it magic. Because it is. You know, when you think about taking a piece of clay, throwing it on a wheel, centering it, manipulating it, and you get whatever you want.
Yeah, are there stubborn clay?
Well, if the clay is too hard, okay, this clay is a little harder than I like to work with, but I can still manipulate it. Then it could be obnoxious if it's too hard, you know.
Is this
If
Christian
you're
talk?
off, if you're, say you're having an off day, if your center is off, and you throw, say, a couple of pots, 2 or 3 pots, and you haven't got anything centered, then walk away from it, you know, just for half an hour. Go rest somewhere, sit in the sun, whatever you do, and then come back again to it. And your chances are, whatever you do, that meditation or that rest, it gives you back your center, you know. Because we all have days that don't work for us, you know.
I was thinking.
Okay, I'm
maybe I'll
pushing
just-
more with my hand on the
I'll blow real
outside
soft.
than on the inside because I don't want it to be wide. I want it to be narrow at the bottom. So what I'll end up doing in the end is squishing that in at the bottom there a little bit. Because this is boring to me now, you know.
So you're going to put a little bit...
Well, I'm going to squeeze it in at the bottom because I don't want it to be so wide. I want it to have a narrow... I can trim that off later, but then I want to use that clay. If I can bring some of that clay up to the top, I want to. See what I mean? I wanted it further in, so. And also, there's water sitting in the middle here. Well, you never let too much water sit in the middle because it'll deteriorate the clay. It'll break it down.
Like melt it? Like
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah, similar to that.
Makes it mushy.
When it's heated up, it's like soft and weak spots.
When you bisque,
You can do anything with it, anything at all, okay, anything. And that's the magical part about it, you know. You can conjure up, when I could first take an image from my head and put it here, that was the most satisfying thing I had ever learned in pottery. was
Mhm.
to be able to, okay, I want to be able to take that shape that I go out and see in nature or see in my world, see in a gallery, whatever, and I can come home and I can get it on my wheel because I thought it. That to me was the first most satisfying thing that I learned, okay? And I had thrown many, many, many pots before that came. You know, so it takes a lot. You got to I took 2 classes in pottery, and then I got on this wheel. And I never looked back,
Mhm.
ever. You know, it's the way it is.
So most of the things that you've learned is just by doing
I
it.
self-taught, yeah, exactly. I bought books, I found books in old bookstores. Um, I went to some workshops. I went to a workshop with a Welsh potter from Wales. He was doing a tour of North America and ended in Victoria at the Luther out at
Luther Court?
no,
Oh.
it was Robin Williams is a world-renowned potter. He's written books. He's an amazing potter, and I'm trying to think of this place. It was the Pearson College out in Machosen. This was where this Walter Keeler, who was a potter, and he had films of his own workshop and films of his work. He threw pots for a whole weekend. It was amazing. And you learn a lot by what you see.
Mhm.
You know, even just shapes. Like I say, if you want to make something, you can. Just do the practice, do the homework, and that's it. So this vase is about 2 3/4 pounds, and I could make it thinner. I'll try bringing it up one more time, and that's that's all. Sometimes that's always famous last words because it doesn't always work, especially if this one. I've tried to set it back on again, and you can do that actually, but um,
So you're making it, trying to make it thinner.
okay, that's it. I'm not going any further because it's wobbly, but it won't matter. And besides, I like to make my vases a little bit heavier so that they're not going to fall over
Mhm.
with water and
With
flowers
roses.
and whatnot. So I'm done, and I'll trim it. There's a little wow right here, but I'm not going to do anything about that now. I'll just trim
Wow.
the um, the bottom now because there's too much clay on the bottom, so I can trim quite a lot now off. Before tomorrow, I'll turn it upside down and trim it right up to here and get this wow out because I want it straight.
So you can turn it over when it's harder or
Yeah,
it sets.
when it's leather hard, which usually is overnight. Now, in this weather, I could probably do it later today if I left, you know, the heat to come in.
And if she
And-
doesn't do it tomorrow, you should cover it up.
Yeah. A friend of mine actually had an extra fridge in his studio and would put things in there, wrap them in plastic and put them in the fridge, and then a month later he could trim them. And because as long
Oh.
as the clay doesn't harden past a consistency of being able to trim or put pieces together,
Mhm.
then you can do it. It's all doable, right? So that's it. Welcome to. I'm sorry I don't have more clay for you, but
No, it's
I can
okay.
put some more clay out and it'll
I
be
got,
dry.
I think I got 5